Hi, I'm Kat Beaton from UCP, University Centre Peterborough. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Hello, my name's Demi Siwo.
And what sector is your company based in?
It's based in the creative industry.
And can you tell us what your company does?
So my company is a creative content agency, and what it does and what that means is essentially we're a team of creatives that put together digital assets in the form of video, stills, and animation for our clients in the music industry.
And what's the name of your company?
My company name is Firmative Media.
That's great. Um, does it supply to a regional, national, or global market?
It supplies to a global market across the world.
And how many people work within your company?
At the moment, we have 5 members and around 12 freelancers who sort of work part time on projects that come once in a while.
What makes your company stand out?
I think what makes our company stand out is we're specifically for the music industry, and the assets that we create are assets that we've researched clearly for the benefit of recording artists that are either emerging or current artists that are getting used to the digital market and social media space at the moment.
And does your business have multiple office locations?
It hasn't. Our main office is in Lincolnshire, but we share an office in London with another production company that works with us. So I guess we do have spaces, but an office in London, an office in Lincoln, but our main space here is in Lincolnshire.
Do you find that you do a lot of work in London as well?
I would say 99% of our work is all in London. All our clients are London based, the majority of them.
Have you made any recent environmental changes, or do you have any plans to in the future?
We have, yes. So I'm the only one allowed to be in the office. All the members of staff are working from home, which has been fine. It hasn't really changed anything. It hasn't changed the way we conduct business. It's still the same. It's just being safer.
So, what do you do yourself?
So I'm the founder and the creative, and my role is a creative director for Firmative Media.
And how long have you been doing it for?
The company launched in 2017. So what we are going to a fourth year, I believe. Yeah,
How
fourth
did
year.
you get involved in this?
Yeah, so I've always done video production, and I started doing media production in college at Peterborough College in 2006, sorry. And through Peterborough, I then ended up going to Lincoln University where I did film, television, and drama. And within that, I loved the aspect of being in front of the camera and being behind it. But I loved the process of sort of video production mainly. And I took that skill, worked in television, and then realized that actually I liked the idea of creating my own type of content that advertise any product. And at the product I found was selling tickets, and I put together quite a lot of events in the music industry, and the events I put on were very music led. And in that, I was trying to see if I could maybe one day become a event promoter within the music industry for concerts. So really, the ideal would have been putting on concerts for musicians in the R&B world that I absolutely loved. Eventually, what I ended up doing is putting on one-off events with the artists I liked, and because they were selling out using digital content, using the videos as an advertising tool, I realized that I could potentially be able to put together campaigns for musicians. And then in 2017, I launched it with the intention of really trying to be a new creative content agency that's focused on trying to increase streams or sell tickets for recording artists. But we were always going to be at the service of the recording artists, and that's where we are now, and we're just trying to build with the new trends that are coming onto the digital world.
What projects are you working on right now?
We've been fortunate enough to pick up a project for Anne Marie at KSI and Digital Farm Animals, and it's a song called "Don't Play." And we've been working on that since November. The song got released last week, which has been really good. It's been trending, and our results day is every Friday. Every Friday we find out where the artist is, and this Friday I think they're gonna get a number one. And I guess the more number ones, the better the better we sort of look. So I'm gonna find out this Friday how the campaign's gone. But so far, it's been trending every day, so that's been really good.
What are your favourite parts of the job?
My favorite parts of the job are the process of putting together content. You know, everything's an idea until you really create it and put it into perspective and see it working. So I like the process of creating it. And then when the results are successful, that's also a rewarding part. But certainly the process of creation is my favorite part. The scrambling and trying to figure out what the best way is. So that's what I like the most about this.
What would you say are the skills needed for your job?
I think the skills needed are at the top of it, to be honest, is just being able to have a passion for music within what we do and being quite good at keeping relationships in a really authentic way without trying to be someone you're not. And then after that, the practical stuff where you learn from places like Peterborough College, where I went, or Lincoln University, where you learn how to edit programs, the reasons why video works, why people are so attracted to watching things on Netflix. You learn that from college. You learn the the terms in which certain films make you excited, and that makes you a better storyteller. And by becoming a better storyteller, you learn the programs that help you increase the ability of actually putting together a story. You know, programs like Adobe Premiere, which is something I use a lot, um, and After Effects, which increases the value of what you've just done on Adobe or Cinema 4D. So yeah, it's a bit of a process and a minefield really, but I think the steps that you have to take from the top for me are much more based on relationship, being authentic within building relationships with the people that you meet and the passion that you actually have for something. And I have a lot of passion for the music industry. Yeah.
How do you network?
The way you network is you try a lot of different things that you're passionate about. It's very difficult to give a step to step network because everyone does it differently. And I think the best way I'd say is networking is like dating, really, professional dating. And and when you meet people or you find circles of environments of people that you want to be around, I think the key is to try and be yourself. Obviously, you try and show the best in the most authentic way you can, without trying to be over the top and trying to be someone you're not. But if you're able to do that in the right hands, someone who loves who you are as a person will help you get to the way you need to go. And the people who do not love you are not the people that are going to be able to help you. So those are the people you don't want to be around anyway. So I think that's what I've taken. Just it's so much more relaxing as well when you can be yourself in every room that you go into. So I would say that be authentic and be around people who you want to work with, and then be authentic as much as you can. Yeah.
What changes have you seen in your sector over the last few years?
We've seen numerous amount of changes, but we've seen an increase in the amount of music that's being distributed by musicians in our industry. We're not shooting as much as we would like to, so we're not going on to sets as much as we'd love to because of the restrictions. The film industry are allowed to go and film. It's just you're limited with the amount of people you can have on sets, and you're limited with location. So that's just decreased the amount of shoots you can do. So they're still there, just not as many as there were before the lockdown. And so I think we've seen more digital appeal because people want to build their community on social media, or they want to sell more, merchandise if you're musicians potentially, or getting your music out there because you're able to make money using the streams that are available on YouTube and all the other music platforms. And we've seen more merging social media platforms like TikTok, which become really popular. And to be honest with you, because of the lockdown, you just never know what's around the corner with another merging app. Uh, there's sort of a voice app that's come up, which is everyone's jumping onto that. So I guess it's an ever increasing market on social media. That's what I've seen. I've seen more happen on the internet than what I've seen anywhere else or any other time in the world.
What do you see as the developing opportunities in your industry at the moment?
I think the opportunity becomes about community building on social media. If you're able to build a community on social media and have an increased following, a valuable following, and what I mean by that is a place where people can find help by following you. And I'm talking about being able to maybe become someone who promotes, I don't know, like healthy eating. And if you're able to sort of follow someone like that on social and you feel like that they're impactful to you, I've seen that that's become much more of a valuable place to be or valuable person to follow. And it just becomes all about what I was saying, being extremely authentic and quite organic in what you do on social. And no, those are the sort of things that we're seeing as an increased value. People who are really focusing on building a great community, not just to make more money, but I think to utilize the fact that people are at home looking for something or spending more time on their phones. So instead of spending more time doing rubbish things on their phones, you'd like to think you're the person that's going to give great value and entertainment as you build your following online. Yeah.
And what would you say are the developing pressures then in your industry?
I think the developing pressures now are that everyone needs to do something. I think that's the pressure that I get the feeling that a lot of musicians at the moment feel like they have to distribute more music than they ever have done. And I also get the feeling that a lot of creators, feel like they need to create more content than they ever created. And I think that's a bit short-sighted, really, if I'm totally honest with you, because I believe that this is the moment where you really reflect and try and zone into your instincts, going back and realizing why you do what you do, or potentially why you shouldn't be doing what you've been doing for the last few years. This is quite an important time to reflect and be able to really distinct on what you want to spend your next life, right? The next few years doing. What do you want to do? So I don't think that's the pressure people have. They feel like they have to do something, but I don't feel that is the right strategy now. It's time to think about what you want to be doing. Yeah.
What skills does your company most value in your employees and why?
Honesty. I absolutely, I'm in love with people who can just be themselves. There's so much value in that because I, I think, I think the reason why I value that the most is because if you're honest, it's quite easy to work with someone that you can trust, and you can learn skills. Everyone can. Some people are going to be better than others at doing certain things, but if you're honest, then we already have a relationship there before starting. And then the second thing is passion. If you're honest, then you're going to be honest about what you're passionate about and what you're not. Most freelancers, I guess, come in to our space and just think it's all about making money. I mean that is an important part of living in general. But what's that thing much more important for us is if you're honest and you have a distinctive passion, because we can work with that. And we're lucky if you say you're passionate about music. But if you're not passionate about music, that's not the end goal. You could come into this company and say, hey, I'm passionate about sport, and I could get the skills that you guys are using in the music industry to do them in sport, because I'm deeply passionate about football players, and we can work with that. What we can't work with is a lie. So we need people who are super authentic and passionate about whatever they believe in.
When you're hiring new employees, what would you say are your top 3 interview questions, or at least top 1? And what are you looking for in answers?
What's your favorite music? What do you want? What do you see yourself doing in the next year or next 5 years? Just understanding what their goals are, if there are any. And it's not a problem if they haven't got any, but even just being honest and saying, no, I haven't got any, is a great start. And then asking whether they've had any experience in the video production industry. That goes into a trail of questions around what programs they use and what their specialities are. But you'd like to think that on that question on what experience they've got, they would mention that, they would mention the programs that are like in that.
So what are the roles that your company actually employs?
We're specifically looking for designers, people who are great at video editing, but in the video editing world would like to think that there are people who are very experimental with complicated programs like After Effects and Cinema 4D. It's great to have someone who has the basis of it, but a lot of people can do that, and we want to stretch the ability to do more. And also someone who's just super interested in photography as well. But if I'm totally honest, one valuable thing I really, really look for is someone who is a superstar, a wizard on After Effects and Cinema 4D. That's what my eyes are on. Animation, that sort of commitment is what we're looking for. Yeah.
So what advice do you wish that you'd been given starting out?
The advice I think is I wish it was so easy to understand that being yourself was always enough, and you didn't need to really try and be other people to get a job, and that it didn't matter if one job rejected you. And what really did matter is me focusing on what I believe in and trying to get better at that, because someone was always going to pick up my skills, or I was going to approach the right person in the right time, and just be, I guess that's part of patience. So I just wish someone just said, hey, relax, focus on what you're doing, get better at what you're doing, and you'll be fine. um, Instead, I didn't know that. I just tried absolutely everything and run around like a headless chicken until I got older. So
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you very much.
no, thank you for having me. A real pleasure.